Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Georgie, and I'm back today for some more Smogon classic action. And today I'm gonna be reviewing my ADV Cup round 1 set versus user dualconstrict, who isn't necessarily known as he only has one post on the forums. And as you can guess, that was the post saying in to join the Advanced Cup tournament. So yeah, so I went into this set, to be honest, I wasn't as prepped like I would be versus a bigger opponent, quote unquote. So like my first team, the first team that I used, like, to be honest, I would not have brought that versus like a BKC or something, because, you know, I was figuring, I mean, it was still a solid team, but I was figuring, you know, I could just breeze through this set because it was a random. I mean, I wasn't really like not giving him credit because you never know what to expect, but I wasn't like going balls out to the wall. I was gonna save that for game 2 in case I lost. So yeah, let's just jump into the set real quick. Alright, so game 1, I lead off with my Snorlax, he's Metagross. Switch out into my Funcktion to eat a predicted Meteor Mash. And pause, hold on. So switched out into Snorlax to eat a Meteor Mash, and I took 19. So right away I was like, okay, that is not a choice banded Metagross. So I'm like, cool, noted. So that being said, usually you'd expect that I would go for a layer of spikes here, you know, given that Metagross generally can't touch Funcktion unless it's running HP Fire. But I decided to scout for Magneton here, so I switched out into my Snorlax, but he went for Meteor Mash again, and fortunately for me, I did not pay for that. So I decided, okay, fuck it, let's go back into Funcktion. And here I went for Earthquake, still scouting for Magneton, but instead I decided to be more progressive. So I was like, okay, on the off chance that he does stay in, I could still get damage on the Metagross, but let's scout for Magneton anyways. So yeah, I did that, and I caught the Magneton, so that paid off for me. So I get some spikes here versus this Swampert, because I switched out. Okay, so I switched out into Men's here to get the Intimidate off, and then I doubled back into Fortress. Yeah, to, you know, get some spikes in, because yeah, with a -1 drop, Swampert isn't really doing much to Fortress, and I'm pretty specially defensive. So if you went for Hydro Pump or Surf, I'd eat that too. So I got 2 layers in as he went out to Salamence to scare me off, and I go into my Salamence. Found out it's a choice banded Salamence. Switch out into Metagross, scare him off into his own into his Swampert. I mean, okay, so I expected Swampert and went for Mash here, right? But okay, wait, because this is a choice banded Metagross. But let's play on. I forgot how this way. Okay, yeah. So I went out into my Umbreon here. Cool. He doubled into Metagross. Good play on his part. So switch out into my Fortress and got a crit, which was really important because my Fortress is running counter. So I would have, you know, I would have been able to take 2 Meteor Mashes, or even a Meteor Mash and an Earthquake combo, and counter the Metagross and possibly scare it off while still being able to get my spike eventually, because Fortress would have just shrugged off all his attacks. But yeah, I got a crit here, which is unfortunate, and that's Pokemon, so I just had to suck it up, and I went for the counter here to get some damage on that Metagross, and then I dropped to Earthquake. So I went into my own Metagross, and I think I went for Meteor Mash, yep, and I missed. Okay, so I went for Meteor Mash here because 1, it 2-hit KOs his Metagross, I believe. Yes, I think so. And the possibility of boost also, okay. And then in the event that he switches out into Swampert, like, he's still gonna eat a fuck ton, especially with hazards down, and then there's a possibility of boost again. So it would probably have been a 2-hit KO on the Swampert. Yep, after it 8 spikes and 8 meteor mash. So, but I missed, which is cool, no problem. So as you can see, Metagross took 31 there, and then my own Metagross dropped to his meteor mash. So I went to Drake here, aka the Salamence, and just went straight for Earthquake because I'm not fucking around. As you can see, he stayed in, like, daring me to go for it. So yeah, he goes out into his Salamence there, goes for HP Bird on my Umbi as he switches out, and I go for the Wish, predicting that he goes out into Snorlax. So here I didn't have much of a better play than trying to get the Intimidate off on my on his Lax with my Salamence. I had to risk that paralysis because I didn't have much of a better play. So yeah, he went for the self-destruct here, and he goes back. Okay, so here I made a pretty bad play because my unrevealed Pokemon is Starmie, right? And I know he's banded, but and banded Salamence do carry Brick Break, but for some reason I expected him to go for Hidden Power, you know, flying, to be safe, you know, because he doesn't know what my last Pokemon is. So I just went straight to Umbreon, knowing that it would not be a 2-hit KO after lefties and protect, so 2 rounds of lefties, and then I'll be able to wish up. But nope, he just went straight for Brick Break here. So I could have played that much more safely and just go straight into my Starmie. But yeah, that kind of pretty much killed the game for me. I think I still lost because if I remember correctly, his last is a Heracross. So here I go for the Ice Beam as he goes into Swampert. Yep. And I think I go for another Ice Beam. Yeah, not. Oh yeah, I went for Hydro Pump here. But I think I went for Ice Beam here, fearing a crit. Because at this point, oh yeah, and I got the freeze, so I got lucky. So at this point, I was just playing it safe because I did not know what his last Pokemon was. And chances are Starmie would have cleaned up. But nope, it's a Heracross. And I am not packing Psychic. And I got a freeze, but he thawed immediately. So I wasn't getting too lucky there. And here, I just had to play for a choke. So I predicted him to sub there, and I had to go for the curse, predicting or playing for a miss or some misplay or something. So yeah, he ended up doing what he needed to do, and he never missed Mega Horn. Not that it would have mattered because I believe Choice Banded Brick Break still cleaned up. So yeah. That was the game 1. So I got mopped up. I got mopped up by a Heracross. So yeah, let's get into game 2 and see how that one went. Alright guys, so we're back for game 2. And obviously I'm down 0-1. So I had to bust out the big guns. Cause I'm not trying. I told you guys already. I'm going all the way. I'm going all the way. Okay? Like, these cups are mine. So yeah, let's jump into it real quick. So you know I'm 0-1 down, so I'm not fucking around. Bars. Alright, so start off with my boy in flight, the Zapdos versus his Salamence. Switching out because I'm not risking no rock slides, no speed ties, no anything. Switch out into my Metagross. So I double out into Zapdos, expecting him to switch as he did. So I get a free sub on his Snorlax, and I baton pass to my Metagross on his Body Slam. And he doesn't break my sub, which is lovely. So I get off a free Meteor Mash here as he goes back into Vaporeon, and I get a boost. Perfect. I love how this is going so far. So he protects on my Earthquake, and that's not going to stop me from going for it again. So I earthquake again and do a nice and decent 43%. As he surfs, it breaks my sub. So I switch back out into Zapdos to scare it off as he goes into Claydol, which is not a bad play. So I sub here. He goes for Psychic and I'm eating that up. My sub is eating it up, like breaking what? So I go for the agility here as he finally breaks my sub with Psychic, and I go for another sub as he switches out, which is a misplay in my opinion. But who am I to complain? So I get off a Thunderbolt on his incoming Mens as he goes for the break. So I'm in the sub again, obviously. So here's where things get interesting. So he goes into Snorlax and I Patent Pass to my Magneton as he Shadow Balls and refuses to break my sub. As I go for the Thunder Wave, you know, fishing for that Para Hacks as I sub again. And he Body Slams and breaks my sub. Okay, no problem, bro. Go for it again, still fishing. Got one. Thunderbolt here. Free as fuck. Got another one. Thunderbolt again. Free as fuck. So here, like, I'm just gonna keep fishing, obviously. Especially seeing that he has a 3-move Snorlax so far. So probably last move is self-destruct. So he switches out into Claydol and goes for the Hidden Power Fire. Cool. So I go for the sub again just to test him. And he switches out with, he's either panicking or he's just making some really bad moves. Because I'm not switching out, bro. So I go for the Thunderbolt here as he goes back into Claydol. And I go for HP Grass because I'm just going in with my 3-way traction to Magneton. And, yeah, I go for HP Grass here again, I think. Yep. And I knock the Claydol out as he goes into Salamence, which I'm not sure why. So I knocked that out with Thunderbolt. I think this man is just panicking now. He's sweating. He's like, he doesn't know what to do here. So I go for sub here. He goes for Meteor Mash. Yo, this man is choking out the ass. Or, I don't know, man. Magneton is a pretty intimidating presence. So he could just be like shuffling his fingers, not knowing what to do, bro. But I'm just here going in. I'm just fishing. So I go for the Thunderbolt here. I'm not sure why, to be honest, as opposed to sub to fish for a para. But yeah, I'm not sure why I did that. I think I was worrying about his last being something. Yeah, I can. Why did I do that? I was guessing maybe I wasn't worried about Metagross too much. No, actually maybe I just wanted Chip on the Metagross, and I did not want him to switch out when he sees that I can't go for another sub. So yeah, I believe that was my logic, because I definitely wanted damage on the Metagross. Anyway, so here I go into Zapdos, and here I fish, I believe, by going for sub. Yep. As he goes out into Magneton, and then I just Patent Pass expecting the Thunderbolt into my Marowak. And then I just hit Earthquake. I think he switched out into, he switched out into Vaporeon there. And then he just forfeits. So I'm not sure why he never tried to, like, you know, live something with his... Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, he would have lost anyways. But he probably should have not switched out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. This guy made a lot of crazy plays this game. But I'm not complaining. So I snatched that. I didn't snatch. I earned that W. I took it like a real man and made it mine. So yeah, series is tied up at 1-1. And off we go into game 3. Alright guys, so this is it. Game 3, the final game, the nail biter, the decider. That being said, obviously I went for some big guns because I'm not trying to lose. You guys already know, I already said this over and over. I'm not trying to lose. Like, I'm trying to go all the fucking way. So I had to do what I had to do, no matter how bad my opponent is. If he's bad, that's It's perfect. I'll just pummel him into the ground, no mercy. Doesn't matter. I was not gonna hold up, so yeah, I went for the big guns. So let's jump into the replay. So I lead off his Skarm, he leads off a Gengar. I switch out into Dusclops because I'm not trying to eat a Thunderbolt nor a Hypnosis with my Skarmory. So I do that and I burn a turn of sleep as he goes into Cloyster. Here I switch out into my Roxy, the Jolteon, to scare this Cloyster off, and I doubled out into Skarmory, predicting a special sponge, and so said so done. In comes the Snorlax, so I get a free layer of spikes here as he goes into Gengar. So Gengar scares me out and I go into Jolteon, predicting a Thunderbolt. Got that correct, and I doubled out into Skarmory here, predicting the Snorlax again, but instead he went for Ice Punch, which is a fair play because Jolteon's dual pack substitute and Baton Pass, that's a standard set, so he probably was not trying to, even though I'm not running any of those moves, but he was not aware, he does not know that, so he was probably not trying to have me get a free sub. So he went for the Ice Punch, which is fair, and I wasn't thinking along those lines at the time because I was like, he probably knows my set, or I assume that he knows my set. I'm not sure why I always do that sometimes, but yeah. So I switch out into Metagross here, not trying to take any chances, as he switches out into Pert to eat this Meteor Mash, and it does a decent 17%. Not decent, but yeah, it does 17%. I go for the Protect to Scout, and he goes for Protect as well to Scout for HP Grass, but I didn't HP Grass. Switched out after the Protect into my Skarmory, predicting Earthquake. Got that right. So here I get a free layer of spikes again, another layer, as he goes for Hydro Pump. Okay, fair. So here I believe I switched out. Yep, switched out into Suicune into his predicted Hydro Pump, but instead I got Ice Beam and Frozen. Wow, okay. Real good job, Georgie. Good job. So here I remain frozen as he goes out into his Cloyster. So in order to prevent spin at all means, by all means possible, just in case, I go out into my Dusclops, and he goes for another layer of spikes. So here he switches out into Tyranitar as I burn another turn of sleep. So here I believe he went for Pursuit, predicting a switch, but I stayed in to burn another turn of sleep and woke up and got the burn off on the Tyranitar. So okay, that's pretty clutch. I'm glad that didn't miss because that proved to be very important. So he goes for Pursuit again, predicting a switch, but I went for Pain Split because if Pursuit is doing 29, chances are on a switch it's doing 58, and I needed my Dusclops to be able to switch in 2 more times to block spin from his Cloyster in case it has it. And after those 2 more turns, like, it could die, because at that point Cloyster would be withered down enough such that pretty much all my monsters could like handle it and just KO it and prevent it from spinning. So he pursued here and I went for the Pain Split, so I got a decent chunk of health back. And here I switched out and I got a free switch out. He didn't go for Pursuit this time, instead went for the Fire Blast, and that's fine by me. So I sacked my Skarm here and I went into Metagross. So here I got a free Meteor Mash as he switched out into his Swampert, and I believe I missed. Yep, perfect. So here I went straight for HP Grass because like I assumed, like, given that I did not go for it the first time, he wouldn't try to scout again, like possibly giving me a free switch. So yeah, I assumed he would either Earthquake or Hydro Pump, so I went straight for Hidden Bar Grass there, and then he earthquake just as predicted, and he protects there, and I'm not taking any checks, not doubling, not predicting anything. I'm going straight for hidden power grass because I'm already down, so I can't take any chances. Plus Metagross is pretty important, so yeah, I gained some good lefties recovery there. He goes out into Gengar, and I believe I protected here the Scout, yep, for Fire Punch or whatever, but he went for the Hypnosis instead. So that was pretty good to know. So I didn't risk that, and I switched out into Suicune, hoping I could get a free turn to Defrost, to try to Defrost, but he predicted that I went for the Thunderbolt, so that was a pretty clean play on his part. So I just sat my Suicune here because it's pretty much no good, because I would not really get much of a chance to defrost with spikes down, and I'm at 29% and sand is up. So yeah, I was like, fuck it. So here I go to Dusclops, you know, kind of like, you know, like kind of putting him in a spot to see if he would like to risk a Hypnosis miss, and possibly get KO'd by Shadow Ball. So I was not trying to go to anyone else and give him a free Hypnosis. Like, he had to pay for that. So he decided against it, and he switched out into Tyranitar to eat the Shadow Ball. And here I think he goes for Pursuit again, but I was like, you know what, it's do or die, bro. So I'm staying in here and going for the kill. So I chip him off a Shadow Ball, and the burn damage finishes him off. So I'm glad that burn connected from earlier, so it proved to be really important here. So I lived this Ice Beam and got a Pain Split off, which was lovely. So the Cloyster is looking as good as dead, more or less. So here I went for a burn, and I missed. Right, so I missed here. So I was like, okay, let's go for another one. But of course, I got crit 10, and at that point, I was like, yeah, it's looking pretty grim. So I went to Jolteon to scare out the Cloyster, and he just sacked it and goes to Snorlax here. So at this point, I was like, I'm just gonna show my unrevealed here, because I don't need to take unnecessary damage with Jolteon with Gengar still being around. So here I was like, I do not know what his last Pokemon is, right? And if I stay in and Rock Slide, chances are it's gonna be a 2-hit KO, and there's gonna be a flinch chance. So chances are he is going to self-destruct if he has it. So I assumed worst case scenario that he does have the self-destruct, and I am like, okay, I'm not gonna leave my Aerodactyl in. So I switch out into Metagross, and just like I predicted, he did self-destruct. And in the event that he didn't self-destruct, I would have been able to go for a Meteor Mash here with my Metagross. So it was a win-win for me, not deciding to take that self-destruct. So I go back into Aerodactyl here, you know, trying to work some magic, because it was the best thing I could do. I did not know what his last Pokemon is, so going for the Rock Slide was the best play here. And he revealed his last Pokemon to be a Heracross, and not an Articuno like I would have loved. So here I missed the Rock Slide, which had me so pissed, because I was like, bro, if I Rock Slide and I hit, like, I'm doing roughly pretty much like he would die the next turn to Sandstorm damage. And rock slide is not KOing me. So if he did go for the rock slide, it would have been game. But of course, like game 3, it had to be exciting. Like there's no way the Pokemon gods would allow such a simple and clean win for Mr. Georgie. So here I was like, okay, I went for rock slide, he went for sub, as I missed. So here I was like, he's gonna go for sub again, hoping that I would hit him with rock slide and then he would get his Salak Berry and then he would just sweep, right? But of course I thought ahead of that and I went for the Jolteon play. I went to my Jolteon. So had he rock slide there, it would have been over. But he predicted me to stay in and go for my rock slide, but I didn't. So I got the prediction correct as he went for substitute again here. And I'm like, okay, Sand is whittling this down. I just need to get this down to 36 or 31% and it should be game. So I went for the wish here, not attacking. He should have attacked there. I'm not sure what he was thinking. But yeah, so he missed his rock slide. I went for the wish, got it off, and then I just KO'd him with Thunderbolt from there. So this end game was pretty interesting. What the possible plays included, right? Like if he had rock slided there, right, while I wished, it would not have KO'd, and then he would have gone down to 36%, right? And then I would have Thunderbolted there, obviously, and he would have, yeah, I mean the possibilities are ended. Are endless. He would have subbed again, but at that point he would have been at 36% before the sub. Then he puts up a sub and goes down to 11%, and then Sand hits him for 6, leaving him with 5% and 1 hit. So I believe either way, I mean it could have gone either way, to be honest, but I predicted that he would have not had the balls to go for the ballsy move and hit rock slide, and instead played safe, and that paid off for me. So yep, I'm not gonna lie, that had me sweating out my chair, but I eventually got it together, as you can see, and I finished this game up pretty strongly. And I just want to shout out to my mom for bringing me here, and my father for but yeah, it was a good set. That was a good game. Had me on the edge of my chair, that's for sure. So yep, I'm off to round 2 of the ADV Cup, and yeah, so I'm in round 2 of the ADV Cup, the BW Cup, and the DPP Cup. So I only have my RBY round 1 cup set to play and my GSC round 1 set to play. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that commentary and replay, and until next time, friends, peace out. You know how that shit goes.